This podcast should not exist. A video by August the Duck. Okay, man. Let's see what this video is about.
People ask me, like, do you forgive Ned? I mean, the answer is no. Absolutely not. How can you forgive somebody for lying to you, for cheating on you? No. No.
Ladies and gentlemen, today
That's
you're
so
about to
weird.
get real uncomfortable. If you're a person who does not enjoy awkward silences and watching people confront one another, then this video is about to be your personal hell. But you've already clicked on it, we're already here, you might as well stick it out.
Right.
One of the last things holding this country together, you know, the glue to this macaroni project of a country we've got going on here, besides like our universal hatred for British people, is the widespread agreement that podcasting equipment should not be legal for everybody to buy. For
High
years,
key.
this has been a problem. The fact that anybody can go to their local Best Buy or local Walmart and buy a microphone is a national safety issue. And unfortunately, that's only like halfway a joke. Over the last like 7 or 8 years, podcasts have been absolutely taking over. And just like with anything where there's a relatively low barrier to entry, once it's proven, like once people realize, hey, people are making millions of dollars doing this, everybody wants to try it, even if they have absolutely no desire to actually do the thing they're trying to do. And at least
Now, most people are making millions of dollars, but it's not to say that there's not money in podcasting. But the reality is that the only people that are making millions of dollars are the ones at the tippy top. But it's not to say that if you don't want to get it, if you want to get into podcasting, you shouldn't. I think that you should. But, you know, I do agree to the sentiment that I feel like microphones are not pricey enough. Because the fact that anybody could just make a podcast is quite annoying, because I mean, I've seen clips of what this video is about to talk about, but I haven't seen what the intricacies are, so I'm curious to see what it is. But yeah, this just looks like a bad idea, but let's go.
It's to a lot of shitty, terrible podcasts. But even with that being the case, even with there being a sea of shitty podcasts to swim through, what we're looking at today stands out as so uniquely shitty that it's almost hard to believe it's real. Now, I'm sure a lot of you have heard of the Try Guys. If you haven't, it's a long-standing YouTube channel. I'm pretty sure it's an offshoot of BuzzFeed.
I've never heard of the Try Guys.
And it's a bunch of guys who do exactly what the name suggests. They try a bunch of different stuff. And a few years ago, one of the Try Guys, Ned Fulmer, was exposed for cheating on his wife. It was a huge deal because his like entire image on the internet pretty much was like being this guy who's super in love with his wife. So when this came out, it was kind of a shit show. Long story.
See, this is always the tricky part about posting your girl on social media, or if you create a brand with your girl, you have to be the perfect husband. No cheating. No, I don't condone cheating. Black men don't cheat. However, I don't believe that it is the internet's business about what you do with your relationship. You know, cheating is wrong. But to make a public apology and to lose your job because you got exposed for cheating, that's insane. Imagine if you lost your real job because your boss was like, yeah, did you cheat on your wife? Gotta go. That's insane.
Story short, it resulted in him leaving the Try Guys channel. Ned and his wife Ariel released some comments saying that they were working on their marriage behind the scenes, and that was basically it. Until recently, Ned Fulmer, the guy who cheated on his wife, announced that he was starting his own podcast called Rock Bottom, where, as the name sort of suggests, he interviews people who have gone through low points in their life and made it out on the other side, which is fine. You know, whatever. The guy did YouTube forever. To expect him not to try to come back to social media to some extent is kind of silly. It's not something that I would ever watch, and I don't think it's anything that most people are going to watch, but I never watched anything he was part of to begin with. But the reason we're talking about this today is because the first episode of this podcast is with his wife, and holy fuck is it uncomfortable. Now, we're not going to watch
his wife that he cheated on. It's giving Will and Jada red table talk. What the fuck are y'all doing on the podcast, bro? Let's see what they're talking about.
this entire thing because it's over an hour long, but I think there are some moments in this podcast that are definitely worth talking about for a lot of different reasons. So not going to try and preface anything too much because there's just too many facets to cover here. Let's just get into it because we've got a lot of shit to look at. Okay, let's begin. Please subscribe.
Well, here we are.
Back again.
At it again. feels
They hate each other. If you guys can't tell what two people who hate each other look like, is this. This is ill.
weird. Feels a little awkward.
Yeah, y'all did not have to do this shit.
It looks awkward. 2 seconds in, it looks like, what the fuck are y'all doing? You come back on the scene with the very woman you cheated on your first podcast. That, hands down, has to be the dumbest shit you can do. But let's keep it going.
By the way, the ominous hum that you hear in the background, yeah, that never goes away. I don't know if that was added in post to try to get people to click off this video before they got through the entire thing, but it definitely adds to the ambiance.
I'm like, what the hell am I doing? What am I doing? But no, I feel like this is a necessary thing.
Yeah,
It's never necessary to have public conversations with your partner for money. Never necessary, but let's keep it going.
kind of been just keeping our lives very private for the last 3 years.
As you should.
Yeah.
And just almost hiding from the world.
We've been hiding. We've been hiding from the world.
All right, I'm going to say something right off the bat that's probably going to immediately piss off like half the people watching this video, but you know me, I've got to speak my truth. This is not necessary at all. Nobody should give a shit. Am I crazy for thinking that? I think I have a different...
Not at all. Like the first thing I thought was, why do they have a podcast together? Or why does this exist? There's no reason that this should exist. Y'all should be broken up or divorced or whatever the hell comes after you cheat on somebody. A podcast? That's stupid. But let's keep it going.
Perspective, because like I've talked about before, I've dealt with like crazy parasocial shit, but in my personal, humbled opinion, nobody should be giving a shit about these people's relationship 3 years later. Look,
mind you, I've never heard of the Try Guys. This is stupid. I've never heard of the Try Guys, so this man could have never made a podcast and we'd never know he was a cheater. Now, obviously, if he has I don't know who the Try Guys are, but if they do have a big enough fan base, I guess he almost felt like he owed it to the fans. But this is stupid.
I get it. You watch a guy every day, you trust him, you think he's a good guy, and you end up finding out that he cheated on his wife and he's a piece of shit. I understand being upset about that. I understand that being a moment, but 3 years later, holy fuck, why do we care? Nothing against these people. Like, I'm sure they're making good money from doing this. Like, I understand that's probably why they're actually doing this, but like, no, this is not necessary whatsoever. Nobody
This setup is really nice. But yeah, no, definitely shouldn't be doing this.
should really care about this in a real way. Am I losing you already? Is that crazy to say? I don't know. Not trying to like attack anybody for what they're interested in, but I feel like it's important to sometimes step back and recognize that things are parasocial without you even realizing it. If you were like sitting in a restaurant and you heard about a random person getting cheated on by their husband, would you care about that for 3 years enough to
No. I'd be like, get out of my face. I'm trying to eat my food.
watch a podcast about what happened? That is literally what's happening here, except you have a closer connection to that person in the restaurant because at least you were in the same room as them. You know what I mean?
To like walk up to somebody that I want to be friends with at like preschool and have to start every conversation with like, my personal life is a dumpster fire, as I'm sure you know, but also, do you want to be friends with me? You know, like, I don't want to go about my life starting friendships like that.
Yeah, I remember I have met some people, like made new friends or kind of introduced myself to strangers. And it's like, oh, let's exchange Instagrams. I'm like, well,
right?
Here's mine, but couple of caveats. One, I have a lot more followers than you might expect. Two, all of this is pretty outdated. And three, don't Google me.
Don't Google me.
Don't Google me.
You
Just
probably don't want to Google me.
Get to know me first.
This should not be a podcast. Bro, this is so cringe. Ew. What the fuck are they doing on a podcast together, bro? Like, what? They're over here talking about making friends?
Yeah.
Oh my
me off.
goodness.
You don't want to be just sort of seen as the sum of your mistakes for me or the sum of your passed for you.
Right.
Okay, so I am not in these people's personal lives, so I'm not going to speak for them. Personally, however, I don't see how this is going to help at all. If they are genuinely having problems making friends because one of the most common reasons for divorce to happen is why they got divorced, that's really strange to me. That's something I've never even considered, and if that's something they're actually going through, that's insane to me. People are fucking weird. Honestly, though, I feel like this would just make that worse, if anything. What do I know, though? But I find it really weird how Ned's approaching this one, and I feel like he does this a lot throughout the podcast, where he sort of seems to think that what he's saying is relatable to his wife or his ex-wife, his ex-partner. I think they're still married, but they're like not together. This makes total sense for this to be a thing that's like a big source of stress for Ariel. She had no say in this. She had no control in this. She was the one cheated on. She was the one who had her life ripped apart, and that's trickling down into her not even being able to make friends without that affecting it. Ned's the guy who did all the fucking cheating, and he's like, yeah, don't Google me because you're gonna realize I'm a piece of shit. Like, what? These are not the same things at all.
Why would people not want to be friends with her if her husband cheated? What does that have to do with her? I'm confused about that. Am I missing something? Why is it difficult? This was 3 years ago. Move on. The hell? Like, why are they dragging this out? I'm confused.
Brother.
People ask me, like, do you forgive Ned for what he did? And I mean, the answer is no. Absolutely not. How can you forgive somebody for lying to you, for cheating on you? No. Fuck no.
Okay, bitch. Sorry I said bitch, but bruh. Why does this podcast exist? Okay, you don't forgive him, so you do a podcast with him? Does that make sense? And he's just sitting there like, yeah, I'm a piece of shit. Yeah, I know, babe. No, yeah. No. It's like, okay, you cheated. People cheat. And I don't think cheating is good. Cheating is a no-no. However, if you're not going to forgive the motherfucker, leave him alone. Move on with your life. Quite literally. Let's keep it going, though.
Don't even.
This is not something that should have made it to the internet. I
Not at all.
sincerely would like to know the conversation that led to this becoming a thing, because I don't get it. Like, seriously, if you wanted to do your fans a service and like tell everybody what was going on, Instagram post with a long caption saying, yeah.
They probably just, I don't know, bro. They more than likely saw one of their friends do well with the podcast, and they just thought like, hey, it'd be a good idea. Why don't we tell people why I cheated on you?
Yeah, we're not together anymore. We're co-parenting. I don't forgive Ned. We're moving on. That's it. You know what I mean? Like, I almost feel like this is the result of an unrealistic expectation on both sides of this relationship, both from the audience and these two. Like I was saying earlier, I'm going to stand by it. I don't really think anybody should care this much about this, where these two need to sit down and like reopen all of this shit. Not that a lot of it's probably closed yet, but like you say, your personal life's a shit show and you're trying to move on past this and you don't want everything to be about this. Why the fuck are you releasing a podcast episode about it then? I mean, is that crazy? Am I just...
It's very crazy. You're complaining about how people aren't moving past the fact that y'all are split up because your husband cheated, but then you make a podcast about it. Cementing the conversation in history because of the internet. Nothing goes away. That's stupid.
Missing something? I'm just kind of confused as to how we all got here.
What was that moment like when everything changed for you?
Awful, obviously. It was kind of surreal.
And what's up with this guy? Why is he okay with this? Why is he okay with just like, maybe he feels guilty? But no, bro. Like, you could own up to you being wrong and not have to do this dumb shit. Like, what the fuck? Yeah, how did you feel when I was banging another woman? How did that make you feel? Well, how do you think? How do you think I feel? Jackass.
And I thought to myself, like, what would somebody who's been cheated on, like, what would somebody in a movie do?
Really?
I don't know. I wasn't thinking like of
movie?
a specific movie or something like that. I was thinking like, what would
Jesus
like,
do?
what do people do in this situation? You
They
know, like-
leave. They literally leave. Quite literally. I don't know. I have no idea if they're still together, but yeah. Somebody cheats on you, just leave. Do both of you all a favor and just leave, bro. Quite literally, that's all you do.
I wasn't thinking of I wasn't thinking for myself. I was thinking like
Do they have kids?
what do I do next?
Ned, you're really bringing in some heaters with these dog shit questions. I think my biggest confusion here is that this is clearly not, like, rehearsed. I don't even think there's, like, an outline for this. And I think that's my biggest question. Sure, I guess I can understand wanting to, like, kind of explain all this to your fans if it's a big part of your life, but
Very
this is sort of
unnecessary.
like we're just watching a couple-led couples counseling session. We've got Ned asking the world's worst fucking questions. What was the moment like when everything changed? What does that even mean, Ned? What was it like for your wife when she realized you'd been cheating on her? Probably not great. What are you
Like, obvious answers, bro. Like, this shit is so stupid.
expecting there, Ned? Lovely time. I look upon it fondly. Like, what do you mean? What was that moment like? Not good. I feel like that one goes without saying. Also, I feel like Ariel should sort of be leading this a bit more. Like, I don't really understand why Ned got the privilege of steering the conversation.
It's probably his idea. Because is she famous or is it just him? More than likely, he's the one that's more famous than her. And if that's the case, then it's probably his idea. And she was just like, yeah, fuck it. My life is already over. We might as well just add more to it, you know? But fuck it.
Obviously, this video is only going to cover a fraction of this podcast, so you're not really going to see this, but I've watched this entire thing, and he does this basically the entire time. He really only asks these questions that are sort of vague and things that don't immediately reflect back to him. Like, he kind of tries to tiptoe around the fact that this is all completely his fault the entire time. He's asking these questions that are more about moments or feelings about one specific thing, and it seems very unfair.
There was a lot of sort of delusions and rationalizations that you, as the person doing that, sort of are telling yourself.
This man is dead inside. He needs to leave this girl or stop talking to her, because every time he talks to her, he's being reminded of how he cheated on her. He needs to stop this. They need to stop this. Delete this podcast, bro.
As to why it's not so bad, or why it's going to be okay, or why actually this talked about it in this way. And then it's like, I remember that moment, it all just kind of like fell down.
Mind you, this is 3 years ago, and they're talking like he did this last night. They need to stop whatever this is.
Totally could see how
Oh
devastated.
my God, this is horrible.
Just completely traumatized you were, and then it was just like, oh, everything changed for me as well. I'm like, oh no, this is like I've been hurting this person that I love this whole time.
You didn't realize until then.
Well, you know, but then there's other things you tell yourself to kind of sort of compartmentalize, or I guess.
What the fuck? This is insane, bro. This should be illegal. The amount of awkwardness this is just fucking... Who edited this? Who edited this podcast? They're probably editing like, ugh, fuck it.
Good God, can we get like a Family Guy cutaway or something?
Literally.
My Lord.
Somebody
This seems more
insert
like a
an
punishment
ad.
for the audience than it is Ned. I am in physical pain watching this. Also, Nedward, what the hell is coming out of your mouth, man? When you were cheating on your wife, you didn't realize you were hurting her? You just fall off the turnip truck yesterday? What the fuck could that even possibly mean? Have you ever like spoken to a human? You really needed your wife's life to fall apart in front of you for you to realize that one? How did this guy get two people to fall in love with him? That's the real mystery.
How does it make you feel to hear that?
For real. He sounds mad depressing. The fact that he got another girl, maybe he was different post or pre-cheating. Who knows?
I mean, did it ever occur to you that like not only did you having an affair just it shattered our marriage,
Mm-hmm.
but it also, like, all of that guilt and shame, you like hoisted that on me.
Interesting.
Like, you gave that to me,
And you took it.
and now I have to carry that around for the rest of my life.
You don't though. Who said that you had to? Like, and I think this is what penance looks like. It's almost like, okay, yes, he cheated on you, but girl, find a new man. Like, nobody says you have to carry guilt and shame because this guy doesn't know how to how to contain his penis. Nobody's telling you to carry guilt and shame, girl. Like, just move on. Like, I get it. You're angry and stuff like that, but bro, you gotta move on. This happened 3 years ago, and I'm not saying it to say like she should freaking forgive him or whatever, but if she truly wants to heal, she does have to forgive him. But if she doesn't want to, then she's just gonna continue to be tethered to this man who she clearly hates. Like, no.
I don't think it's fair that as a society you're put in that position. It's certainly not true.
So this is sort of an example of what I was
Oh
talking
my
about earlier.
God.
Ariel's talking about a very real thing, a thing that happens all the time when stuff like this gets exposed to the public. When men cheat, a lot of people's knee-jerk reaction is to be like, okay, well, what did the wife do? Was she not fulfilling him? Was she being a bad wife? What did she do that made him do this? And she expresses that saying, how do you feel that you've basically cursed me for the rest of my life? That now there's a percentage of people that whenever they hear about this happening, they're gonna think it's my fault. She asks that, and he basically doesn't even acknowledge it. He's just like, oh, well, I think it's kind of unfair that society does that. Doesn't fucking matter. Society does do that. No shit, it's unfair. Way to keep it surface level there, Ned. That's not what she was asking. And he purposefully dodges these questions the entire hour. Which again, kind of begs the question, why are we even doing this? Maybe this is just Ariel sort of wanting to embarrass Ned, and you know what? Hell yeah, that's a good enough reason for me. But if it's like actually for the reasons they said it was for, I don't really think we're accomplishing that, honestly.
I'm gonna end the video here because this is too awkward for me. And I kind of get the gist. If you guys want to watch the full video, this podcast should not exist by August the Duck. I'm going to go ahead and like the video because that was a great amount of cringe. So, thoughts on the video. They need to stop doing this they need to stop doing podcasts like this. Like, if you guys are not together, somebody cheated, leave each other alone. I cannot stress that enough. There's so many people who ask, what do I do? Like, he just cheated on me, he ruined my life, or she ruined. It's like, yes, I get it. It hurts. The relationship's done. Move on. It's like, unless you want to get back together with them and make it work. Now, nobody's saying that that's a bad thing. I've seen a lot of people do it. Forgive them or don't. But if you don't and you're still hanging around them, that's stupid. You're punishing yourself at that point. And it's nothing that they're doing to you. They're just reflecting back the punishment that you are giving yourself. I think I understand that this woman is hurt. I understand that she's angry. I understand that, it's like, why would he do that and shit like that? But no, The last thing you want to do is start a podcast with a guy like that. And the guy, I don't even know where he's at. He just looks like he doesn't want to live anymore. And that's a very weird place to be, which begs the question, why start the podcast? Who knows? If anybody could actually find the reason as to why they started this podcast, I would really appreciate it. But yeah, this is some cringe. This is some new level of cringe. Yeah, never want to watch or do that again. But let me know what you guys think in the comments below. Be sure to like, comment, subscribe, hit the bell, and I will see y'all in the next one.